know so much about so many of you. Too much, maybe. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. Not entirely sure where here is, but it's fine. I made it. I'm not local. I don't want to make anyone jealous, but I am lucky enough to live in a beautiful little suburb called Luton. Yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, if it's not happening to you. Maybe I'll laugh about it one day, if I survive. It's a difficult place to live, difficult, strange place to live, strange place to work, difficult place to work. You know, my girlfriend works in mental health services in central Luton. That's a difficult job, right? Difficult and confusing. You know, especially when people come in and say, I'm not in a good place. Tricky. Home of the EDL, Luton, you're probably aware of that, home of the EDL. What you're probably not aware of is that the EDL are bringing out a soft drink for adults. It's called Racial Slur. 15 years too late, that joke. Never mind. I'll tell you a little bit about my family, right? They're interesting, they're eccentric people. My uncle was a colonel in the army, and he's also a nudist. So, whether I go to see him at work or at home, there is a good chance I'll see his privates. Just a joke. Okay, he's not a nudist, he's not a colonel. He is in the army though, he genuinely is in the army. And he deserves a little bit more respect than I give him, because he's killed 4 men. He's never even seen active service. He packs the parachutes. I had an upbringing, right? I don't know if it was normal or not, to be honest with you. I think when you're a kid, you assume everything is normal, don't you? Then you get a little bit older, you start describing stuff to your therapist. Worrying. What I tend to do, as I remember stuff from my childhood, I will throw it out to a lovely audience like yourselves to see if it is unusual or not, right? I find that's quite a good test. So if you don't mind, I remembered something the other day, okay? Is this normal? Is it normal for your mum to strain pasta directly into the dog's water bowl? Jury's still out, isn't it? I genuinely just want to know, so it's fine, we can move on. So you're worried about the dog. The dog was fine, absolutely fine. Lived till it was like 14. Dog is. And the vet said it was natural, albeit starch related. Causes. Strange family. My granddad died of a broken heart. Almost immediately after a bullet had passed through it. Strange family. My dad's a divorcee, and so's my mum. It's ironic actually, because that is all they ever had in common. I like irony, right? I like irony, big fan of irony. I've had an ironic life. You know, some would say it's ironic that I'm a vegetarian, but I've ended up looking like a battery farm chicken. I'm vegetarian, right? I'm vegetarian. I take my vegetarianism very seriously, but I try not to be too serious about it, if that makes sense. Because, like, I think we've treated animals quite badly, us as a species, but even I have to admit, we have been quite creative sometimes, and it does get quite entertaining. Like, you might not be aware of this, but the first living thing sent into space from Earth was a dog called Laika, right? The Soviet Union sent her up in 1957. They sent her up into space knowing full well that they didn't have the capability to bring her back. Yeah, so they just sent her up there to die. Which I think, if nothing else, that's quite a creative way of being cruel to animals. It's also, like, I think about Laika a lot, and it's also entertaining to think about. It's entertaining to think about because if there is intelligent life out there beyond ourselves in the universe, there is a small but very real chance that aliens intercepted that craft and have spent the intervening 70 years trying to work out how a dog was mastered interstellar travel. And that is the sort of subplot you just don't get at an Avatar. It's sick minds. I've quit therapy. Unrelated. I've quit therapy because my therapist said they were going to do one of those ink blot Rorschach test things on me. But instead, when the time came, all they did was show me black and white pictures of my parents' genitals. I thought, you are disturbed. I'm not coming back. Here. Speaking of parents' genitals, I haven't been gigging much recently because I just had a baby. Oh, stop it, I really didn't contribute. Biogenic. We didn't tell anyone we were trying to have a kid, right? Not even me. No. We didn't tell anyone we were trying to have a kid. Apparently it's a thing people do now quite a lot, that they sit down and tell people that they're trying to have a child. Which I think is very strange, because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but to try and have a child, you have to have unprotected sex. And I'm not in the habit of telling people when I'm doing that on the rare occasion. I am. A friend of mine said over a family dinner, he told his family that him and his wife were trying to have a child. I just don't know how that conversation is going, to be honest with you. Gran, you got enough peas? Yeah, okay. Well, I've got something to tell you. We want to tell you something. We want you to be the first one to know, in fact, that we have actually started trying. Bareback. I didn't even tell my dad when I moved house. Overly familiar for me. I like being a dad, right? I like being a dad. I'm trying my best, which is all you can ask. I got off to a rocky start, I'm going to be honest with you. I embarrassed myself a little bit during the birth. I was panicking, it was a high stress situation. Plus, I was expecting it to be gory. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that gory. I'm extremely squeamish. So towards the end, I was stood in the corner, barely even looking at what was going on. Stood in the corner, barely even looking. Midwife comes over to me, and she says, "Sorry, you are aware that that is one of the most incredible things you will ever see?" And I said, "I am aware of that, thanks. But right now, there is a baby's head sticking out of it." Oh dear. It was fine, the rest of it was all fine. They asked me to cut the umbilical cord. And I wasn't sure, but I did it in the end, and I think I did a good job. Because they wouldn't let me go till I'd done 2 vasectomies and a gallbladder removal. I think it was a strike day. Hospitals freak me out quite a lot. I'm really health conscious, right? Massively health conscious. I bought a Fitbit the other day, instantly lost £60. I'm also a hypochondriac, a huge hypochondriac. I'm always imagining I've got various diseases and illnesses and worrying. It's getting worse as well, my hypochondria, getting much worse. Like now, I don't even wait for my body to do anything weird before I try and diagnose it. What I do now is I will just cut straight to the chase and I will look up diseases and illnesses and see if I can convince myself that I've got them. Like, I looked up TB the other day, tuberculosis, right? I looked at the description said, initially will have no symptoms whatsoever. I panicked! You guys have been a lot of fun. I'll leave you with a joke, I suppose. Well, it's not a joke, it's true. I got a text on my way here from a friend of mine from school, and he said, our old PE teacher has quit teaching and he's training to be an optometrist. He's finally going to have a job where he can touch pupils.